Cool. All right, well, thank you all for coming. I'm actually going to do something different than the agenda said. I'm not going to talk about our last release. You guys can get that information from a variety of sources. I'm going to give you a quick update on kind of where we are as a product and where we're going to take it over the next few years, which is should be far more interesting to most of you. How many of you are here Salesforce CPQ customers? How many are kind of implementing or live, and how many are looking at it? Just get a quick show of hands. All right, good, excellent. All right, well, very good. So we'll get going. As Daniel said, my name is Max Rudman. I'm a VP in Salesforce product organization, responsible for Salesforce CPQ and Billing. There are two different products, which together sort of provide this, full quota cash business process automation. And I came to Salesforce, through Steelbrick acquisition, which, as he said, I was a founder of. So Salesforce is a publicly traded company. I have to show you this safe harbor statement, which I'm sure you've seen many times. And so without further ado, I'll just get into the presentation. So Daniel mentioned this notion of the fourth industrial revolution, which is, this convergence of physical, digital, and biological worlds. And and it's creating a bit of an upheaval in business, right? You hear about this or that company getting disrupted by somebody using technology, and so our mission at Salesforce is to help you connect to your customers in whole new ways. And we really see this underpinning of this fourth industrial revolution as validating our messaging around digital transformation. And you can see it here, right? Some of the drivers of this are artificial intelligence, which you've heard a lot about from Salesforce, at this Dreamforce and past. Mobility, so everybody carries a mobile phone in their pocket. Many people carry two, and this idea of connectivity, right? The devices getting connected to the internet, and so this whole series of forces sort of converging, to really disrupt a lot of industries. And you can see, anywhere, anybody from media to high tech and manufacturing is thinking about how to move forward with these transforming technologies. And so, we really see CPQ as a great enabler of this. Because when you think about it, what it implies is that you need to have a whole new sort of level of agility in your business, and we see CPQ as a key enabler of that. And so as the world, as the different worlds are converging, and sort of you have the emergence of this new connected, consumer who is more demanding and expects information real time, anytime, anywhere. This is the world of most companies. It's siloed, it's disconnected. You have your front office CRM system, which is hopefully Salesforce, right? And then you have your back-end accounting and ERP system, SAP, Oracle, you name it. Maybe it's Canadian, in which case you're far ahead of the game. But that's the reality of most of the companies. And there's this chasm, I think it's a Grand Canyon, I'm not really sure, but a deep divide between the front office and the back office, and that's creating the friction. It's preventing companies from delivering on the connected customer experience that today's consumers demand. And so the CPQ really is the glue between the front office and the back office, between your CRM and ERP, and it helps bridge that divide. And so our secret sauce in terms of solving that problem, and really the main competitive differentiator, and frankly, I think the reason why Salesforce acquired Steelbrick is, as Mark Benioff said, it's the best implementation of a partner app on the platform that you've seen. So we are native on Salesforce. We've always been. We use the standard data model where possible. So we essentially fit very seamlessly into the Sales Cloud. and to use Salesforce, CRM SFA application. And of course, now that we're part of Salesforce, that transition, that linkage is getting even deeper. We are not only leveraging standard data model, we're now influencing the standard data model. And so I think as the time goes on, you can expect to see us sort of integrate deeper into the core Salesforce platform and be even more seamless and transparent experience for you Salesforce users. But what this slide shows you really is sort of everything from marketing to lead and opportunity management, quoting, configuration, pricing, discounting, right? And with a billing product, all the way up to invoicing and payments and even revenue recognition, you can do on one platform, on one data model. And that's huge. There's no integration, there's no, piecing stuff together, it just works. And so this is some of the metrics that we've obviously benchmarked our customer base, run the surveys, and so these some of the metrics our customers reported in terms of the efficiencies that they saw by deploying CPQ, right? 80% faster quote delivery, 30% faster ramp for AEs, and tremendous ROI by deploying quote to cash. And as you can see, our customers span a variety of industries. We're kind of your sort of software, SaaS verticals are our bread and butter, but we also have customers, in medical devices, in healthcare and life sciences, in manufacturing, and we also have customers that are small, that are medium, and that are large, and that's the point I particularly pride myself on. I kind of always build a company in the mold of Salesforce, and I don't know if you guys remember Mark Manieff used to say it, it reinforces in the past, like how, if you look at the Salesforce customer base, it's third, pretty evenly distributed between small, medium, and large customers, and it's the same product that's serving all of them, and that's exactly what we have with CPQ as well. It's one product that's serving all these customers across the industries and across sizes. And so I'm not gonna get into the roadmap here, because frankly it's really fluid, but what I thought I'd do instead is kind of talk about these innovation themes, which is how we think about our innovation and what's happening to the product over the next several releases. So I'll go through each of these now and kind of unpack them for you. So performance and scalability, that's a top priority for us. Trusted platform. You guys all know trust is number one value at Salesforce, and it means really everything from reliability, quality, security. And so, now that we're part of Salesforce, and in fact in March we actually merged with the Sales Cloud product organization and the engineering organization. And so as part of that alignment, we've been really upgrading our processes and picking up engineering process rigor from the core team, so you can start to expect the same quality and same reliability and the same level of process applied to CPQ and billing as to the rest of Salesforce. We've been on this journey for a few releases even prior to acquisition of sort of transitioning from a server-side architecture where we kind of Visualforce based UI, and you do something and kind of calls it to the server to do all its work. So we've been transitioning to client-side architecture, which is very much what Lightning really is doing, right? Compared to sort of classic and Aloha, it's this modern JavaScript front-end based application. And so we've been on this journey as well for a number of releases, and we're sort of going through module by module and refactoring and to move it to the client. And that's of course resulting in dramatic improvements in performance, because when everything is in the browser, every action you take kind of executes immediately. It doesn't require a server round trip. So we've seen performance improvements on something that used to take 15, 18, 20 seconds now gets done in a couple of seconds, 3 seconds, which is great. And then related But different is the notion of scale, which, to us, being based on Salesforce Platform, it's never been about, user load, concurrent users, or, amount of data we can store, right? That's just Salesforce Platform, which has been proven to scale over the years. Where we had struggled in the past is, with the size of individual transactions. So quotes with, thousands of lines, contracts with thousands of lines, orders with thousands of lines. And so the good news is that, the same thing we've been doing to address performance is actually solving for these problems as well. And, we've have successfully scaled the quoting module to, several thousand lines. And in winter, we piloted the new contracting service, which supports multi-thousand line contracts, and then we're just going to keep going down the line and refactor the configurator next, and as well as the doc generation to support quotes and products with hundreds of thousands of options, and support generation of documents for quotes of thousands of lines. So on core CPQ, we're continuing to drive, to enhance our functionality. And what's interesting about that first bucket, when you kind of look at the features that are there, usage-based pricing, evergreen contract, configurable orders refers to the ability to have standalone orders. Right now, you're sort of required to create a quote and then convert it to an order. So with this feature, you'll be able to go straight to orders. And installed products, all of these features have actually surfaced because of the billing product, right? And what we've learned is, with CPQ, like quote to cash is not just CPQ plus billing. You actually have to go and rethink a lot of CPQ, a lot of upstream, input collection, and how you do things up front too, because now it has implications on downstream and how you're going to invoice and how you're going to recognize revenue. So a lot of the learnings from developing the billing product have now actually percolated into CPQ, and are driving a lot of that innovation there. So in terms of usability, and I do believe we've sort of significantly lowered the bar on what it takes to deploy CPQ. I kind of know how many of you have experience with other products, but it used to be a very expensive and very unpleasant proposition. These, the legacy products, as we call them, were highly customized and, required a lot of, development, a lot of, consultant time to get up and running and to maintain. And so by adopting the Salesforce mantra of clicks, not code, we've been able to lower that bar significantly. But we want to do more. We want to, develop, improve the admin interfaces along with our partners, and we want to, drive down the need for customizations. And so that's what you see there is really continuing improving the user experience first and foremost for the reps, but also for the admins and the folks who are maintaining it. And then last but not least is sort of Lightning ready. We do work on Lightning today, but as you know, it's sort of a brand new UI platform from Salesforce. So there's some kinks that both us and the core teams need to work out, and that's our commitment to continue to work with them to address these gaps. So on billing, we have a bunch of stuff coming too. How many of you guys how many of you have heard about Salesforce Billing, and how many of you use billing product? Not a whole lot. So it is a somewhat sort of newish category of software. I think many of you have heard about Zor, who had pioneered the space. But I do think that they have a significant problem, that is that they're a third cloud, right? Not only are they not in CRM or ERP, they're just kind of adding, another database, and now you have to sync your product catalog between the ERP, CRM, and a third, billing cloud, and that sort of the complexity grows exponentially the more of these, data syncs you throw in, and of course nor do they have robust CPQ product up front. So our vision really is to sort of deliver, even though they're separate products, and we talk about CPQ and billing, what we are building, and that I think no one really else has is this integrated suite of these two products, delivering full quote to cash experience that's been designed from the ground up to work together seamlessly. And so on the billing, there's some advanced functionality coming for the invoice plans, in terms of like how you want to invoice, being able to build templates for that, pre-rating usage. So one of the big advantages of a billing system being taken out of ERP is the flexibility it affords businesses in terms of trying new business models. Right, and we talked about the fourth industrial revolution, how it's placing, demands on business to be more agile. While a lot of our customers want to experiment with new business models such as usage-based pricing, and so our billing product together with CPQ is going to very easily enable that. We're introducing the new UI for the payment collection module, and then some will work in the revenue recognition. So a lot of good stuff coming there as well. And then I think this might be relevant to the developers here. We're actually building a sort of a quote-to-cash platform that sits on top of Salesforce, so platform on top of platform. And as I said, we really sort of drive clicks, not code mantra of Salesforce. But sometimes, particularly with enterprise customers, you do need to customize, and so we have a variety of mechanisms available for that: plugins, APIs. And what's interesting, it's the very same tools that our enterprise customers use to customize are the exact same tools that our partners, ISV partners, which you see on the right, are using to build packaged solutions on top of Salesforce quote-to-cash platform. And these solutions range from horizontal solutions such as Conga, doing contract lifecycle management, as well as Spring and Icertis. DocuSign, EchoSign are obviously e-signature services. But then you got companies like Tacton, for example, who are building vertical CPQ on top of our CPQ platform. It's CPQ for industrial manufacturing in their case. I think I mentioned about the data model. We do leverage as much of the standard data model as possible, which which is one of the reasons we're so much easier to implement and maintain. But now that we're part of Salesforce, we're actually driving the evolution of Salesforce core data model to include some of the elements of CPQ and billing. Our vision for enterprise level UI customizability is Lightning components. So we'll be componentizing our UI and wrapping it Lightning components, so you can sort of build your own, assemble your own CPQ and billing screens by dragging components onto a page using Lightning Ad Builder or similar ad tool. And then of course we are driving a vibrant partner ecosystem around all this technology to enable both SIs, such as simple as folks like Prodly and others, to build complementary tools on top of our platform and increase the value of the ecosystem. And then last but not least is Einstein. I think Daniel mentioned a little bit about the Einstein announcements at Salesforce and Dreamforce. And so Einstein is obviously the Salesforce AI platform. What I think is interesting about the way Salesforce is approaching it is, it's a core platform capability. It's a core platform service. It's not really a product per se. You're seeing a bunch of Einsteins kind of pop up in different clouds that are surfacing predictions from this engine. But the core service is actually, operating across the entire product portfolio, and therefore it can analyze and deliver predictions based on the entire CRM data set, which I think is very important and very key differentiator between some of the other AI solutions out there. And specifically for our products, obviously product recommendations is something we're looking to leverage Einstein for, to help reps price, to find the optimal price, to determine the expected customer lifetime value in billing, as well as predict the collections of cash, also in billing. And again, what's key here is we're just surfacing these predictions, right? The predictions themselves, the analysis comes from the Einstein platform, which is, delivering those predictions based on the entire CRM data set. And I think that makes a lot of sense and it delivers a lot of value because, when you think about the product recommendation, that may depend on which product you should buy, may depend on what happened way upstream and maybe the marketing cloud, right? Which email you clicked on or how long you took to convert from a lead to an opportunity. So, and that's frankly where our competition, falls short. I think is they claim to have some of this functionality, but it's siloed based only on CPQ data set, whereas we'll be able to deliver these predictions based on the entire CRM data set, as well as any external data you choose to submit to Einstein. And I think that's all I have from my presentation. Do you have any questions? All right, we got a question.
Yeah, I work in the nonprofit sphere, and I'm wondering, have you seen implementations for nonprofits? It seems like it makes sense given the kind of work that they're doing, but I'm here because I don't really know what CPQ is.
It's actually interesting you say that. Salesforce.org, which is sort of the nonprofit arm of Salesforce, is using Salesforce CPQ. So I guess, I'm not exactly sure what they're quoting, because presumably they're giving the product away, but apparently they're doing something.
Is there documentation you think available somewhere? I haven't been able to find.
For nonprofit specifically?
Like that,
Yeah, we don't really have documentation sort of that's, industry specific, but, ping me offline and I'll see if I can put you in touch with somebody who's done these and get some more info for you on, whether we have any nonprofits using us.
So that was a great visual that you had with Salesforce, sales process on one side, ERP on the other. Big
Oh,
slide,
you like the
right?
Grand Canyon slide? Okay.
Grand
I
Canyon.
didn't make it. I'll pass along the work.
As we know, Salesforce they're getting their act together. They acquired Steelbrick and done a really beautiful job integrating. The next area is to kind of move closer into the ERP space and kind of tie all that together. Of course, there are third parties. Do you see that on the roadmap possibly down the road?
I don't know for sure. Mark Benioff could be buying an ERP company right now. But I think if you kind of listen to our messaging and where we think the opportunity lies, I think it is in the front end. We see a huge opportunity with helping customers to execute that digital transformation, of connecting to their customers in whole new ways, kind of in light of that fourth industrial revolution that's going on, and that's where I think we see a lot of the opportunity and a lot of the problems to reimagine business and enterprise software. I think if you look at sort of the back end and the accounting, the general ledger isn't changing a whole lot, or how you process orders or how you manufacture them, right? That's very company specific, right? That's ERP, it's enterprise resource planning, right? It's all about the company. So your company isn't necessarily changing a whole lot, but how you connect to your customers is. And so, my guess is I don't really see us moving into ERP as much as I see us going out and acquiring companies like Demandware and, to add e-commerce cloud and sort of, helping you leverage all the channels with which you communicate with your customers.
We'll have more time to ask questions of Max and the other panelists.
Great. Thank you.